Now, if you are a UFC judge that just turned in one of the most controversial and suspicious cards in the history of the sport, and suddenly UFC fighters are asking to have you investigated by the federal agencies responsible for putting people in jail and destroying lives, I would imagine that you got to be tripping out a little bit. And so if you're the judge who turned in a 48-47 Chito Vera card, and you started to see a thing like what I'm going to show you right now, I got to figure you're probably having not an awesome day, because when these guys start saying things like,
I think those judges gotta be investigated. Those judges are like the things that we see with a couple fighters, James Cross, those guys, FBI on top. We need FBI on these judges, because those judges may be working with a betting company, maybe doing something behind, getting a third person to bet. I just think those guys are. I think those guys are doing something crazy, and I just think it's not real. I think those guys are being dirty and maybe trying to get money out of this, because if two judges, or three judges, if two judges, okay, let's work on this fight, let's get a deal, and then have a third person put a lot of money. Those guys are making money and no one thinking about it. I think we gotta investigate those judges, because Chito is my guy and I want him to win. But there's no way he won that fight. And clear to anyone, what's wrong with that judge, and it's not the first time, and that doesn't stop. What bothers me is that doesn't stop. Every event happened, come on. We need to make a decision. I know it's not up to the UFC, but the commission, we have to do something. Otherwise, it doesn't, I don't know, nothing.
Yep. And that's what that is. The FBI, okay? The feds. And you know what's hilarious about this is, of course the fighters are going to start saying things like that, because half their money is tied to the outcomes of the fight. And if you're a UFC, it's one thing if you're a fan. If you're a fan of the sport, you watch the sport and you go, oh man, oh my gosh, what a terrible decision. Terrible decision. If you're a UFC fighter, and I'm not even talking about a UFC fighter that's a victim of bad judging. I'm just talking any UFC fighter, anyone who fights in the UFC, and you see a thing like what we just saw. I mean, listen, if anybody who's ever worked for a company, you're going to be looking at things like, wait a minute, well, if they're changing the quota structure and I hit this number and this number, well, that means that we could end up doing X and then end up getting half our money. I don't know if you guys have ever been involved of, being on a sales team where the company changes something in the new year related to the comp structure, and all the salespeople will go through it with a fine tooth comb and go, wait. If this happened, you put this clause in there, that means that I could do X, Y, Z and then not even get paid my commission, right? That's a regular, very, very common thing. How would this be any different than that? You watch a decision like that. How would you think anything else if you're a UFC fighter? You're like, so I could literally outland a guy 193-73, have takedowns in every single round. The ground control is non-comparable. The strikes are 300% higher. I didn't get rocked. I barely got touched. No, I got hit with a couple shots. At best, you could give him one round if you're being objective, and he might not have even won that round. And I still have this guy who rules in his direction, because think about this, dude. Think about this. People who would look at this kind of on its own would think maybe oh, okay, well, maybe, a judge could be dirty because they want Chito to win. Maybe. But there are a lot of things you can bet on, man. There's a lot of things you can bet on. And if you know the outcome of a fight or a bet or whatever, there is no cap to how valuable that can be. As an example, you can bet on whether something is a split decision, right? You can bet on something, this fight's going to be a split decision or not. Not even necessarily who's going to win. And so if you have one judge in your pocket, you have a winning bet 100%. Well, certainly close to 100%, unless some other judge got it wrong. Although, even if that happened, it's still a split decision, right? If that happens, then it's still a split decision. I mean, if you can't see the other judge's cards, there's no way you can know 100%, but damn near, dude. And there's also no way that a split decision bet could know it's going to go to decision. But nonetheless, I mean, there's a million ways it could be dirty, man. A million ways it could be dirty. And money is always involved. And look, Gilbert Burns wants an FBI investigation. Give it to me. Give it to him. Let him see how he likes. Let's start having the feds start looking into really disgusting bad decisions. Now, the 3027 Barber, that's not in the same category at all. In my opinion, that was again, I just want to make this perfectly clear. I was at the fight. And I say that in that my opinion is less valuable than anyone else's. Okay. If you're watching at home, your opinion is more valuable than mine, period. When you're at the fights, you can't see as well. There is no possible way that you could know as well as someone who watched closely from home. Okay. But if you think Chito won that fight, and I assume this is a joke, because if you really thought that Chito won, you have absolutely no business whatsoever discussing fights. I mean, none. There's none. Or judging fights, I'm sorry. Anybody can have their opinion. But did you know that there is a list of all of the MMA journalists, right? Like, it's not just the judges that scored the bout itself. It's a list of every single MMA journalist, and they turned in their own cards. And every single MMA journalist, there's like 30 of them, at best, scored it 49-46 Sandhagen, except for one who scored it 48-47 Sandhagen. That's it. Like, there's one outlier who scored it 48-47 Sandhagen. Every other judge had it 50-45 or 49-46 Sandhagen. And some stupid asshole who was one of the actual judges is the only person who scored that. Oh my God. There's no way. There's no way that okay. I'm just going to assume that you're trolling me, because there's absolutely no way that Chito won rounds 3, 4, 5. Chito won round 3, maybe round 5 if you're being insanely generous, which no other people who know what they're talking about were, except for one. He did not win round 4. He did not win round 4. Sandhagen outlanded him 193-73. 193-73. You should put your Instagram down if you think that if you think that Chito won. Put your Instagram down. Here, let me show you again. Here's what Gilbert Burns thinks of your opinion.
That's gotta be investigated. You know, those judges are like the things that we see with a couple fighters. James Cross, those guys. FBI,
your opinion is so outlandish.
We need FBI.
If you think Chito won, that he wants the feds to
those judges may be working with the betting company, maybe.
Like, nobody who knows what they're talking about thinks that he won that fight. No one. If you're seriously arguing, it just means you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah. So it is what it is, dude. So they're asking for the feds to investigate, and I think that they should, because there is no person who should ever judge ever again who could turn in a 48-47 Chito card. So we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out, you know. See how it all pans out. The IV Islam is not a criminal offense. That is a potential USADA offense. So no feds there. The feds would be involved in fixing fights, rigging scores, that kind of thing. You know? Do you know what I'm saying? I had Corey winning every round, except the only one that was even in the conversation was the third round. Third round was a little bit close, but you know, in all honesty, I basically told myself, I'm like, I probably thought that was close, because Chito got so smashed in the first 2 rounds that it was like, oh, okay, he's looking a little bit better. He's looking better, man. He was looking better. Like maybe he was Maybe he was waiting. I did hear. I saw Sandhagen say that his team, after the first and second round, Sandhagen, he said that Chito was not even trying to get up, and so he was like, I don't understand what he's doing, and his team was like, he's saving energy. He thinks he can finish you in the late rounds, which is what I was thinking too. I'm like, maybe because when I was watching him grapple, I'm like, it looks like he's just trying to save his energy. I don't know what would have given them the idea that Sandhagen was going to gas. Sandhagen doesn't gas. But nonetheless, then in the third round, when Chito had a better showing, it was like, oh, okay, like maybe he was saving his energy. And then in the fourth round, he got his ass kicked. So fight over, you know? But yeah, what else? What else we got? Yeah, it is. I mean, it is not quite that bad, but it's pretty goddamn close, dude. That was the biggest ass kicking in the history of the sport, I think. Like in terms of just like, let me see what that punch count was, dude. Let me see the punch, like the stats from Holloway, Cater, because that was absolutely outlandish, dude. I can't remember how many he. Okay, hang on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my God. Do you know how many strikes Max Holloway landed on Calvin Kattar? 445 significant strikes. That is absolutely insane. 445, 274 to the head. Wow. All right. So let's just look up the Sandhagen ones one more time. Vera versus Sandhagen stats. Let's see. So, oh, here we go. Wait, what just happened? All right. So it was actually 187 to 73 for Sandhagen, with 3 takedowns to 0 and 7 minutes of control time to 0. But yeah, Chito won, you guys. Chito won. Chito won. And so here we go. And here are the different rounds. Okay, so in round 1, Sandhagen landed 32 strikes to Chito's 5. So you said Chito Vera won round 1, right? You said Chito Vera won round 1? He landed 5 strikes to Sandhagen's 32. And Sandhagen wrestle fucked him in addition to that. Okay? Now, round 2, 18 to 6. And he wrestle fucked him. No conversation. Round 3, the only one that anyone even said maybe Chito won, Sandhagen landed 32 strikes to Chito's 20. So Sandhagen won that round also. Round 4, 24 to 13. Round 5, 22 to 14. There is no conversation at all. Absolutely no conversation. That judge should be fired and investigated by the feds. Now that I've seen the round by round stats, that is absolutely absolutely bananas, dude. Someone say, imagine the FBI caring about, dude, how do you think that, what do you think Krause and all these guys are facing? It's the feds. All right. What else we got? What's another, you know what? Let me look up, let me look something else up since we're doing this, right? Let me see. We're going to look up this other one. Hang on. Let's see what the stats were on the Macy Barber Andrea Lee fight. Where are these? Let's see. So Macy Barber. Well, where's the hang on. Barber Lee stats. I'm trying, like, it looks like Barber did land more strikes, but she got wrestle fucked. So she landed 9 more strikes, but she got completely wrestle fucked that entire fight. So I don't understand how. I still don't understand how she won. I don't understand. Dude, where are the stats? Like like those other fights? Like, where were the? Oops. Oh, here we go. Here we go. No. God damn it. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to pull the, like, I want to see these. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So, round 1, Macy Barber landed 5 more strikes, but got completely wrestle fucked into the ground. Round 2, she landed 2 more strikes and got completely wrestle fucked. And then round 3, she landed 2 more strikes. Dude, that's ridiculous, man. Andrea Lee had, anyway, whatever. All right. What are we talking about? Sorry, I was trying to figure this out over there. Dude, they're mad because people they have half their money tied to a good out, like tied to their decision. If it goes to decision, it's like if someone could outland the guy 2 or 3 to 1 in every single round and still have the judges score it for the other guy in any capacity when they make half their money on the outcome of the fight. Like, if they're not concerned, then there's something wrong with them. I hear what you guys are saying about, like, wrestle fuck doesn't matter if you don't land anything. But I see. I don't agree with that. I definitely agree with that if they take them down and they get into like half guard and then they like don't advance. Like, I totally agree with that. Like, that I totally agree with. It's like if they so yeah, let me clarify my point on the wrestle fucking that Andrea Lee did on Macy Barber. It's like if a person gets a takedown, that you get a little, okay, like you should get credit for that because the person was trying not to get taken down and you were trying to take her down and you successfully took her down. Like, cool. Okay. Acknowledged. Now, once you're on the ground, if you just sit in fucking half guard and don't let them get up, you just kind of like grab them and hold them there, then yeah, you shouldn't get a lot of extra points there at all, especially if the person from the ground is landing shots. You can absolutely score that for the person who's on the bottom. But if a person passes to side control and then mounts you and then takes your back and they're like, oh, but they're not even doing shit. Fuck you, they're not doing anything. Getting into side control is a more dominant position than half guard. Getting into mount is the most dominant position you could be in on the ground. Or if you end up on the back, that's, kind of equal to mount. So it's like they're trying everything they can to not let you do that, and you successfully did it. So what the fuck? How would that not count? Oh, it didn't do any damage. Okay, well, like, again, if you just sit there in half guard, that's one thing. If you advance to the most dominant position you could possibly be in, then what the fuck are we talking about? It's stupid, dude. It's fucking stupid. Anywho, and it's like, and honestly, like, dude, if you're talking about a difference, if you're talking about a difference by of like fucking 4 strikes. Oh, it's, different is 4 strikes, dude. Like she landed 4 more strikes. And she got wrestle fucked in mount the entire time. What are you talking about? Stupid. Anywho. All right, I got to go to Jits and then go try to wrestle fuck someone. Actually, I can't because my arm still hurts, but I'm going to go drill so that when I can wrestle fuck people. In what way? I mean, because I'm not even pretending to know what the fucking interpretation of the rules are. I honestly don't. I honestly have no idea. But oh fuck. I really do have to go. I got to be there in an hour and it's a 55-minute drive. But anyway, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even pretend to know like what the interpretation of the fucking rules are. But all I know is that that's why I'm wearing a rash guard, obviously. If it's like, hey, if it hits the ground, don't let her get in mount. And then she gets in fucking mount. It's like, all right, that just doesn't matter. Like that shit doesn't fucking matter. It's so dumb, dude. Yeah, this is actually a really good point. This is an excellent point. They don't do shit. Dude, did you guys hear that Matt Taibbi, the day that he was going to oh shit, hang on for 1 second. The day that he was going to oh man, the day that Matt Taibbi was going to testify at Congress, the IRS showed up at his house to serve him like an audit. It's like, since when does the IRS come to anybody's house? It's like, oh, just today, hey, you have anything going on today? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Congress to testify about how the FBI was censoring things on Twitter, which is a complete violation of the First Amendment. They're all, oh, well, we just happen to be here. We're just serving you with an audit. So, just hi, just randomly. Anyway, I got to run. Peace out.